Oh yeah, I can just put it like...
Alrighty, guys. So, Back Alley Smoke Show. This is episode 4 coming right at you. It's cold over here in Texas. Super cold, super rainy, nasty. I feel like I'm in New York, almost.
Not with that accent. You're far from home.
Jesus, what kind of accent is that, Aaron?
It's the one God gave me.
Is it?
I like to think so. I like to think I didn't acquire it on my own.
I think that's the voice God gave you.
What was the one I was talking about?
That's like Clint Eastwood reincarnated.
I got a poncho in the car. 44 Magnum. Most powerful handgun. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you feel lucky? Well, do ya? Honk.
I feel very lucky.
I feel lucky.
I feel lucky to have both of y'all as brothers.
Thanks, Jay.
No, I'm mine. No, I'm just kidding.
What?
No. I don't know.
This is the, Is it hitting well? Is it not hitting well? What's up, man?
I don't know. Oh gosh, this is
Tastes like melon.
like
The melancholy.
What flavor is it this right now?
So, I think it's, I have blackberry and a melon. There's melon on the bottom because I had to get rid of it.
Blackberry's
And then
delight.
Blackberry is that new Star Buzz, which is good.
It's
like
pretty good.
Star Buzz.
I have the scent still in my nose. It's a good touch with the vanilla.
I can't wait till we pair this with some mushrooms.
That'd be fun.
Maybe in the next few episodes we'll maybe get our hands on some of those and maybe microdose, make the episodes a little bit more interesting for y'all.
You talking like portobello mushrooms?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The best. I like shiitake.
Oh,
To be
shiitake.
honest.
I heard something. I don't know.
Dragon's mane. I think you heard. Dragon's mane is good. But it's not really a hallucinogen. In some way it's a stimulant, but it's not like a psilocybin where it's a hallucinogen.
Oh, I was just gonna say something else. I've heard something. I don't know which ones. I think cremini and portobello are two of the stages. Are actually the same mushroom.
Different stages.
Different stages of
It was
growth.
the same thing as the bell peppers.
Yes, bell peppers. Glad you brought that topic up. I was at the grocery store the other day. I had to do a lot of research on this because, first of all, I found a female bell pepper with a baby bell pepper inside.
This is 3, right?
Yeah.
It has one, yes, 3, and there was another different color inside. I was like, how does this have a different bell pepper color on the inside of the other one? And it was like a red bell pepper with a green pepper inside. And then I realized that green bell peppers are baby bell peppers. And all bell peppers are green until they get ripened. And then they show purple, black, red, yellow, and orange.
Yeah.
And then people think that green bell peppers are like this different kind of pepper. But really, they're all green at some point.
That's true. I even heard the same thing with eels. Apparently, like for a long time, people were wondering how eels reproduced because like they would find these eels and they would cut them up.
I
and
think I've
have
seen that
any...
video. Isn't it the one where that they had like 2 fishes and that thing that looked like a penis was like transferring over? You see that one?
It's like a seahorse. A seahorse can impregnate itself.
Well, I don't know if that's how it works.
You never seen that? But tell me more about the eels. I'm sorry. I thought maybe that was a...
I mean, it could be. I mean, it was a while. I saw it on a video.
I don't think that's the case. I just wanted to bring that up because if you saw it, you'd be like, no, Micah, that's not, but I know it, and it'd be like...
Oh, okay.
Bring back
you might have to show me
flashbacks.
that afterwards.
I think Jaden just looks at a bunch of eels. He looks at long, slithery things and likes to think of how they reproduce.
Well,
Just
there were a lot of scientists back in the day that did. And they were like, these eels don't have testicles, because apparently they didn't have testicles. And the reason why was they thought that they're having all these different eels and stuff, but it was just past its stage in life where it needed it.
I've heard that some
So they drop the balls as soon as they reach.
Yeah, and they have different stages, and they change their anatomy entirely during different courses of their life. So they thought that they would have different eels that were different species of eels, and some just didn't have testicles. I guess I'm not an expert on this, but they were just different stages, kind of like bell peppers being green and yellow and red.
Think of how much faster Michael Phelps might have been if he reached that stage before swimming.
Well, actually, they're going the reverse route. Now they're having male transgender female swimming athletes. They're not having the males transitioning into.
Wait, Aaron?
But it doesn't matter because if you think about it, titties slow you down if you're talking about mass and aerodynamics versus a cock and balls down there below.
It's like a rudder on a ship.
So actually, the male is actually at an advantage still. So the females are even more so at a disadvantage.
Unless they're flat chested.
But no, because they're more buoyant.
But then they're even more at a disadvantage in life in general, because who the fuck wants a flat-chested woman? You're pretty much just you don't have the respect of a man by being flat-chested. You just have the respect as a small boy.
As long as you have something.
There's no respect there.
As long as you have something in another department, if you got the southern cheeks of a bell, then
southern cheeks of a bell.
Yeah, have you ever seen the shape of a bell?
It doesn't have cheeks, Aaron. I've never seen a bell have cheeks.
I think he's trying to say the southern cheeks of a woman shaped like a bell.
Bell bottom.
Why wouldn't you say that?
Just say, she might not have much of a chest, but she's got a nice ass.
I prefer to compliment by defining the shape as a bell.
There you go. I like that.
Because what's inside of a bell? A ding dong.
What?
It kind of makes sense. That's the scary part. I was just like, what the hell? How did it even come up? But it's just you can't even combat it with something else, because
I'm like, no, I can't say no.
It does. It makes a ding dong. Not only does it have a ding dong, it makes a ding dong as well.
It's the circle of life.
All right.
Yeah.
Why do you think America's symbol is the Liberty Bell? It's got a crack in it.
The way your mind works.
This is great. Y'all hear about what happened in Poland?
Oh, with the
missile.
The missile. It was from
missile.
No, it wasn't Russian.
Yeah, that's what it said.
It was Ukrainian. They said it was Russian at first, but then they later found out that it was a Ukrainian missile.
That's the biggest thing. I just turned into an owl for a second. But who? Yeah. But who leaked the information first? Cause that was propaganda to get us on the verge of World War III, perhaps, because they said, Russia, we weren't going to interfere with Russia in the Ukraine crisis until it affects NATO, allies, Poland being one. So it's if somebody was to stir up the pot by saying it was a Russian missile before actually concluding it was, and it, in fact, being a Ukrainian missile, that makes a huge difference. But it could have escalated things very quickly and very, very bad, because it would have, it doesn't matter if Biden retaliated with one of our Tomahawk strikes, because they can do that.
Already World War III,
because it doesn't matter if it's a miscommunication. Oh shit, we didn't even realize it was a Ukrainian missile. We're already in it. Yeah. Now it's an active attack on Russia.
It's like the shot
and
heard around the world.
Would be at.
That's why it's important to take.
And then we would be blamed for the whole world for starting World War III.
We started it technically because we just went off of misinformation.
Well, some would argue that we did start it because we've been crossing NATO lines, has been moving closer and closer to Russia.
But NATO's more than just America.
Apart from treaties and agreements that we've held for many, many years, and that's part of the reason why. I'm not all for Putin all the time, obviously, but in his defense, if there was to be some. I've heard it many ways where over the years NATO has been getting inching and closer to the borders of Russia.
The Ukrainian
well, that was just one thing not to.
Government, whatever, has been corrupt for a very, very long time, and there's been stuff that's supposed to have been treaties that were signed back in the day to keep, NATO off of the doorstep of Russia, and having Ukraine being some sort of barrier in between, so that there's not just an active, we couldn't just set up military bases right on Russia's border, which we wouldn't want military bases set up on Mexico's border. Remember, that was World War I. Was, I don't know, what was it, China, or it was I think it was Germany. Yeah, Germany ended up actually setting up, they became allies with Mexico at one point in time, that had a whole lot of, debacle. And it wasn't necessarily the start of World War I. I think it was either World War I or World War II, but it was one of those things where it was we didn't, there was no way that we were going to put up with the fact that Germany, being such a powerhouse, was allowed to set up base in Mexico. We weren't having that whatsoever. So why would Russia have that with the Ukraine?
Yeah, weren't there with Russia and U.S. Was Russia at some point having military stuff set up in Cuba?
Yeah, that was a Cuban Missile Crisis.
Cuban Missile Crisis. They had at least missiles stationed from there.
Yeah, and did we put up with that either? No, that was the Cold War.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things. It's very hypocritical for us to point fingers and say Putin was doing wrong by attacking the Ukraine when the Ukraine actively had corruption and was moving or making moves deliberately towards something that they agreed not to do, into the face of Putin acting as if there was no consequences. And I understand that the Ukrainian people aren't bad. I love Mila Kunis. I would never talk bad about the Ukrainian if they pump out stuff like that. Mila Kunis is God's gift to mankind.
You practically named your daughter
Ukrainian. I have a daughter named Mila, and I don't think we named her after Mila Kunis, but it definitely wasn't
her name. Her name was first, so technically, no matter how you frame it, you did.
Maybe I did.
He named after, as far as after in a period of time.
But with that being said, there's a lot of innocent people, and I'll just say, the tenacity of Ukrainians had nothing to do with, there's a lot of things that America does is corrupt that we have nothing to do with as Americans. So I'm not saying that Ukrainians should be the ones reaping all the, hardships of going to war with Putin based off their government's decisions to get them there. What I'm saying is, they got some tenacity. They were able to kill off of pretty much, I think, 10,000 Russians died within the first week or something like that, with normal Ukrainian hands, not the Ukrainian military either.
Yeah.
It was household, they were making Molotovs, and I was seeing a lot of videos of just ladies, imagine, the industrial boom of the military, and there was all these women moved to factories to make our missiles and stuff like that. Now imagine that just being normal housewives and grandmothers making Molotov cocktails that they were throwing at Russian tanks, and they were killing a lot.
The Russians, they would be really good, especially the women would be really, really good at making, I don't know how good they are at making bombs and stuff if they were to reverse this situation of what happened in our time. But I do know that Xana, there's our Uncle Clark's girl thing. She made
ex-wife?
this. Yeah, she still lives with him. Pets the deers and feeds them, and then makes these cakes periodically where it's 13 thin layers of really, really thin cake, and it takes over a week to make this cake. What? And it's constantly doing it. It's got lots of milks and flours.
So it's an engineering process to make this cake.
Engineering process. And I tasted this cake and I was just it's kind of similar to it's a Russian version of a tres leches cake, but it's more because it's 13.
And where the hell is this leading to bombs and Russia?
Well, I mean, I guess bombs? If you're good at making cakes, you can make good.
If you can make a cake for the span of a week and come up with this much technicality and stuff like that, it's a wonder why we were afraid that Russia was going to come up with nukes before America.
Oh no, Russia got to space before we did.
I believe.
Yeah, but if it took 10 days to make a cake, Aaron, it would take 10 years to make a missile.
No, what I'm saying is
that cake is more complex than a bomb.
This cake is more complex than any cake that
Then
American
why is this the
can
first
make.
time I'm hearing of this cake?
Aaron, would you?
Because I didn't tell you about this.
Aaron,
the same way I wouldn't tell you about a bomb if I was making it.
Aaron, would you go so far as to say that cake is the bomb?
No, that's just hot sauce.
What?
The bomb is a hot sauce. Have you ever watched Hot Ones or Hot Things?
Well, I
Aaron,
know, but like
let's
it's also a phrase.
Let's revert back to the point where you just dug yourself into a hole where the CIA or FBI is going to be knocking on our door any moment. Why you say you wouldn't tell anybody if you were making a bomb?
Why
And
would
you looked
you?
right at the camera. I know you wouldn't, but why would you say any of this
Yeah.
on the camera?
What?
He's,
did I
he's just
say?
forgetting it now. It's perhaps better that we all.
Why would I
forget.
say it?
I have no idea.
The United States can hide the fact for over 10 years that we have an F-117 stealth fighter plane, and the only explanation that we have as civilians over Area 51 is that we have a triangular-shaped UFO.
What? Triangle shape?
Why would I say, as a citizen, with my freedom of speech, if I was ever to make a bomb?
No, but you shouldn't insinuate that you have a bomb that you're not telling us about either. You should just refrain from speaking about bombs, Aaron, in general.
I don't even
Talk
know,
about bombs,
I don't even know how
but
fireworks
not creating
work.
them.
Well,
No, I don't know how to make bombs. I've never had a bomb.
Jesus, Aaron, let's change the subject now because I
Yeah,
don't want
just-
to. I don't want to put this out there if we're talking about bombs this much and making them. You know, the Boston Marathon was a real thing that happened.
People
when I
make
was
bombs all
in
the
alternative
time.
school, and there's actually people that do get hurt, really, really badly hurt, and people killed through bombs that were made like in people's homes, left and right. And I don't want to have that discussion necessarily on our podcast. So let's change it to something light. And I promise the FBI and the CIA, I know y'all are up to more shady shit than we are. Also, we have nothing that we're brewing. So
Yeah.
let's move on to the next subject. Jay, can you?
Oh, a light subject. I mean, I was talking about eels earlier, but I mean,
Yes,
I don't
can
know
we
if
get back to
Oh,
that?
yeah. I wanted to add something to that, and then we got so far distracted. I'm sorry. This is how my mind works. I don't actually think about these things, but it gets so distracted sometimes.
Yeah.
And when you lead me in a direction, I take it a couple miles further than I should.
I think
That's
we
an
can all
adequate
agree.
assessment. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm psychologically assessing myself every day. I'm trying to be a better person.
You're doing great, Aaron.
Glad
You're making triumph.
the number of classes I've been taking. I feel like I'm part of society now.